Association member questions management and the board of directors about allegations of embezzled association money. Detailed accounting records apparently showing falsified bank deposits resulting in negative retained earnings on association records converted to a loan payable and finally written off without any audit, which is in violation of various Florida statutes, including felony criminal embezzlement and tax fraud. Specifically, my question to you, Mr. Larkin, is having received the letter about the possibility that that $140,000 was used as a vehicle to cover up a theft from association members, what did you do to make sure that that was completely cleaned up before you unilaterally, without the board, wrote it off? Because the auditor did not authorize you to write that off. You did it all by yourself, only with consultation with the developer or the former defendant, the developer. There was no involvement of the auditor in that decision, none whatsoever. So what did you do related to the letter about the fraud and the embezzlement that involved that same loan before you did the write-off? Manager Larkin represents the developer's real estate interest for nearly 100 properties and is widely believed to have a conflict of interest. Here, Manager Larkin pleads ignorance about the embezzlement allegations that he wrote off without prior discussion with the board of directors. Manager Larkin consistently refuses to answer any questions, suggesting that as CEO of NAI Miami, he is confused about the accounting entries he made to cover up alleged wrongdoing by his client.
Okay. Could you please connect how writing off an obligation of the association so they no longer owe $140,000 on their financial statements relates to the balance of your query?
It was very clear.
The balance of your query can continue to be investigated. No one's stopping anyone from investigating
it. The relationship is direct transactions, journal entries in our accounting system that you have in your possession that terminated with that loan. Yeah, they're in the letter that I sent to you in April. I can send it to you again, but so without.
No, you don't have to.
Okay. Well, you were given the accounting transactions that connected that $140,000 loan. Association General Counsel Rogel, who was disqualified as association litigation counsel due to conflicts of interest, here advises board members and management to refuse to answer questions asked by an association member during a board of directors meeting. The same questions asked in writing or as part of official record requests are responded to in a similar fashion. We, the association, refuse to reply to member inquiries.
I'm gonna recommend that the board members who John is trying to put words in their mouth simply refuse to answer those questions.
The association developer is asked about her role in the missing and apparently falsified 31 bank deposits that resulted in an alleged transfer of $140,000 of association cash to developer accounts. Maybe, Sylvia, can you, for the benefit of the members, confirm that the entries that appear in that year actually were made by you as developer contributions and that you actually made those deposits into the bank account for the association?
This conversation is completely irrelevant. This
Excuse me,
issue
Lindsay,
has been
Lindsay,
settled.
I'm a member. This is discussion. I'm a member. Please don't interrupt me, Lindsay.
John, relax.
You asked Sylvia a question and I'm her attorney and I'm answering that this question is irrelevant. The issue was resolved in the settlement agreement and there's no further discussion that my client needs to have with you about this.
Developer attorney Lair incorrectly insists that embezzlement allegations were addressed in a civil settlement, which includes no release for criminality nor inclusion of these alleged acts. It only includes a release for assertions made in the civil complaint
which never alleged criminal embezzlement. Improper coercion forced the association to accept a highly unfavorable civil settlement agreement, never properly approved by the board or the official legal committee. Here, developer attorney Lair is being questioned about her firm Siegfried Rivera's intention to settle documented criminal embezzlement in exchange for money using a civil settlement agreement. Here she threatens association member with actionable defamation for asking a question.
That's fine. Then let me just ask, let me ask clarification from you, Lindsay, since you brought it up. Was it your intention in this settlement agreement that the association agreed to cover up known fraud in exchange for money? Is that what your intention was?
I think your defamatory statements are actionable, and I would advise you again, or not advise you, but you may want to consult with your attorney about the comments that you continue to make.
Was that I didn't understand your answer. I understand your threat.
So guys, let me make it clear. There was a question asked of Sylvia. Her counsel answered that there will be no answer. Next.
Association member questioning the failure to perform audits as required by Florida statute during the period where the alleged criminal embezzlement occurred, and requests that the board conduct audits to comply with the law. Association attorney Rogel states that there is no interest in conducting audits related to the alleged embezzlement.
The last question I have is, there are no audits for the period in which this alleged fraud occurred. I believe that it's a requirement of the Florida statute that we have audits. In consideration of the fact that there have been allegations that have been very carefully documented of fraud, and there have been no audits at all for the periods in which it occurred, could I request that the board move that audits be conducted for this period where the alleged fraud occurred?
You can request. I'm suggesting that you just requested. Does anybody want to do that? No. Okay, moving on.
Association member asking about current litigation where the developer CPA that conducted the alleged fraudulent accounting is currently suing the association for non-payment of accounting records that occurred during the alleged fraud.
The taxes were clearly fraudulent. They are totally out of, they're not consistent with the books at all. And he's the individual that signed and prepared the taxes. They're off by over $150,000, actually $140,000 off. And he prepared them. So why are we obligated to pay somebody? We have fraudulently filed tax returns. They're not consistent with our books, filed by this accountant that's suing us. Why do we have the obligation to pay him?
Attorney Rogel advising that if the CPA was involved in the fraud, it would have required participation by a member of the board. He goes on to advise the board to pay the CPA and put the matter of criminal embezzlement and falsified IRS tax returns behind us.
So I don't know if John's characterization of him filing a fraudulent tax report is correct. Obviously, well, I shouldn't say obviously. Normally, when an accountant prepares and files tax returns for a client, they obtain some authorization from the client before filing the return.
Association President Posada is instrumental in the alleged cover-up. President Posada consistently voted against any litigation, refused to speak with the official legal committee, or allow any participation during board meetings. 100% of his votes were in the interest of the developer and against the association in all matters related to the litigation. President Posada was elected with 76 votes from the developer and has confirmed a commercial relationship with the developer. Here, President Posada is confirming that he wants to pay off the CPA that committed the alleged criminal embezzlement and prepared the falsified tax returns to, in his words, put this behind us. For the record, The motion to write off the questioned $140,000 loan passed with President Posada's yes vote, along with one other yes vote, for a total of 2 votes to write off the loan out of 5 board member votes. 2 yes, 2 abstain, 1 no.
What do you guys think? We should go ahead and pay? Because what he said to me is that he got all the emails and everything from board members asking him to do the job. Now, Jeremy confirmed. Yeah, we just pay him and move forward.